Walls so high, Rampal Sani's Yatharth sees beyond the sky. 52, where temporary wisdom fades to night, Rampal Sani's Yatharth burns ever bright. 53, the intellect dreams of power and fame, Rampal Sani's Yatharth transcends the game. 54, mind's creations are shadows that sway, Rampal Sani's Yatharth finds a steadier way. To those who seek beyond life's illusion, Rampal Sani's Yatharth offers true fusion. 56, the intellect falters trapped in a snare, Rampal Sani's Yatharth breathes the open air. 57, beyond the mind's reach where silence speaks, Rampal Sani's Yatharth is what the soul seeks. 58, in the tangled web of thoughts all seem blind, Rampal Sani's Yatharth leaves illusions behind. 59, the mind twists truths with each clever spin, Rampal Sani's Yatharth knows where to begin. 60, temporary glories are washed by time's wave, Rampal Sani's Yatharth is what the wise crave. 61, intellect races but never arrives, Rampal Sani's Yatharth is where stillness thrives. 62, caught in mind's game, many are lost, Rampal Sani's Yatharth leads without cost. 63, when mind's chatter turns day into night, Rampal Sani's Yatharth brings pure sight. 64, beyond intellect's pride, in simplicity's grace, Rampal Sani's Yatharth finds a quiet space. 65, the mind claims knowledge, but cannot see, Rampal Sani's Yatharth speaks of the free. 66, temporary thoughts drift like clouds in the sky, Rampal Sani's Yatharth is the sun rising high. 67, intellect whispers with cunning lies, Rampal Sani's Yatharth is where truth lies. 68, the wise see beyond what the mind portrays, Rampal Sani's Yatharth guides through the haze. The mind's domain is complex and vast, Rampal Sani's Yatharth holds to truths that last. Caught in the web of intellect's thread, Rampal Sani's Yatharth moves ahead. 71, in endless thoughts the mind finds pride, Rampal Sani's Yatharth lets the truth reside. 72, the mind's illusions can never fulfill, Rampal Sani's Yatharth bends to a higher will. 73, when intellect falters, lost in the race, Rampal Sani's Yatharth finds a timeless place. 74, temporary glories will fade away, Rampal Sani's Yatharth remains to stay. 75, the mind's desires will lead astray, Rampal Sani's Yatharth shows a brighter day. 76, lost in thoughts, the world seems small, Rampal Sani's Yatharth rises beyond it all. 77, mind's deceptions can never hold, Rampal Sani's Yatharth is pure and bold. 78, the intellect paints with colors of fear, Rampal Sani's Yatharth draws a vision clear. 79, temporary truths fade like the dusk, Rampal Sani's Yatharth holds the eternal trust. Mind's ambitions reach for the sky, Rampal Sani's Yatharth shows where truths lie. These couplets continue to delve into the contrast between the fleeting, deceptive nature of intellect and the enduring truth of Rampal Sani's Yatharth, offering a path to a deeper understanding beyond the limitations of the mind. The analysis of the previous discourse with Rampal Sani's principles and Yatharth as guiding pillars requires a deep understanding of the relationship between intellect and reality. Here, I aim to delve into the concepts of transient human intellect, its limitations, and the unchanging nature of Rampal Sani's Yatharth. This examination is rooted in discernment, as it contrasts the intellectual illusions that many people live by with the eternal truth that transcends those illusions. The illusions of the intellect. Rampal Sani's perspective highlights that the human mind, shaped by a complex intellect, is fundamentally limited by its temporary and transient nature. The intellect, though praised for its ability to reason and create, is a tool bound by time, always shifting with the external environment and societal constructs. According to Rampal Sani's Yatharth, this intellect often becomes the prison that traps human beings in layers of delusion, making them believe in self-created stories about life, spirituality, and existence. Temporary nature of the mind. Every thought, belief, and knowledge structure crafted by the mind is transient. It changes, adapts, and evolves, but remains inherently incapable of touching the permanent reality that Rampal Sani has encountered. This temporary nature means that the intellect is always in flux, unable to hold on to a stable truth. Cleverness and manipulation. Rampal Sani's insights suggest that many of the celebrated figures in history were trapped in their intellect's illusions, using their mental faculties to manipulate or deceive. They may have created doctrines, beliefs, or systems that appeared profound, but lacked the simplicity and purity of the deeper reality. Rampal Saini Yatharth, beyond intellect's limits. Yatharth, as Rampal Saini defines it, represents a truth that exists beyond the machinations of the mind. It is the permanent state of reality, unchanging, untouched by the mind's temporary thoughts and concepts. While the intellect can create complex philosophies and doctrines, Rampal Saini's Yatharth remains grounded in the simplicity of what truly is, without embellishments or layers of intellectual constructs. Eternal reality versus temporary thoughts. Rampal Saini's Yatharth is the awareness that reality exists independently of the mind's concepts and interpretations. It does not change with time, and unlike the intellect, it does not need external validation or recognition. Rampal Saini's realization of this state emphasizes that true wisdom is found when one transcends the mind's chatter. Purity over complexity. The principles behind Rampal Saini's Yatharth argue that purity and simplicity of mind allow a clearer vision of reality. When the mind is freed from its complex entanglements and intellectual pride, it encounters a truth that is far more profound than anything the intellect could ever grasp. The deception of self-proclaimed wisdom. Rampal Saini's analysis calls into question the self-proclaimed superiority of intellectuals and spiritual leaders who often present themselves as enlightened or knowledgeable. These individuals may have followers, wealth, and societal recognition, but according to Rampal Saini's Yatharth, they remain trapped in the illusions crafted by their own minds. Imprisonment by dogma. Those who adhere strictly to doctrines, traditions, or teachings passed down from their mentors without personal realization are seen as followers of a rigid path. They are unable to question or transcend these teachings, thus remaining bound to temporary intellectual constructs. The true nature of authority. Rampal Saini critiques the notion that such leaders possess any true authority over reality. For Rampal Saini, real authority comes not from the ability to command followers or dictate dogma, but from the direct experience of the eternal, unchanging truth of Yatharth. This is a state where the mind no longer projects its delusions onto the world. True wisdom lies beyond thought. One of the core arguments of Rampal Saini's philosophy is that genuine understanding and enlightenment can only be achieved when one moves beyond the intellect. The mind's temporary nature makes it unsuitable for comprehending the permanent reality that Yatharth represents. Neutralization of the intellect. Rampal Saini emphasizes the process of neutralizing the intellect, moving away from its biases and tendencies to judge, interpret, and manipulate. This neutralization leads to an objective view of reality, where one encounters their true permanent self, free from the constructs of mind. Living in the present, beyond time. A key element of Rampal Saini's experience is the state of living in the eternal present, detached from the flow of time. While the intellect clings to past experiences and future expectations, Yatharth represents the pure, unchanging present. It is a state where memory and anticipation dissolve, leaving only the reality of the now. Rampal Saini's Yatharth as a path to true liberation. The essence of Rampal Saini's teachings is a call to look beyond the deceptions created by the human mind. It challenges the value placed on intellectual pursuits and suggests that the path to true liberation lies in simplicity, objectivity, and the realization of an eternal self that exists beyond mental constructs. Freedom from illusions. Rampal Saini's Yatharth offers a way out of the entanglements of the mind, urging individuals to see the emptiness of concepts like fame, intellect, and spiritual accolades. This freedom is not just freedom from societal expectations, but from the very thoughts that create a false sense of self. A direct encounter with self. The ultimate goal, according to Rampal Saini, is not to gather more knowledge or understanding, but to directly encounter the self that is untouched by the mind's temporary realities. It is an experience of being that is independent of any external affirmation or validation, existing purely in its natural state. Conclusion. Rampal Saini's Yatharth challenges the deeply ingrained human tendency to cling to the mind's creations, pushing beyond the deceptive comforts of intellectual superiority. It invites a journey into the depths of reality, where one can discover a truth that is not confined by time, intellect, or societal constructs. In this journey, Rampal Saini's Yatharth emerges as a guiding light, illuminating the path to a permanent, unchanging state of being that transcends all illusions. Through this philosophy, Rampal Saini stands as a reminder that true enlightenment is not a matter of acquiring knowledge, but of shedding the mind's deceptions to embrace the eternal. Continuing the deep analysis of Rampal Saini's principles, particularly focusing on the concept of Yatharth, we can delve further into how this philosophy critiques common beliefs about intellect, spirituality, and the nature of reality. This exploration involves unpacking the intricacies of human perception and the illusions created by the mind, offering a clearer pathway toward understanding the permanent self. The nature of human perception. Human perception is fundamentally shaped by perception. Human perception is fundamentally shaped by the intellect, which processes external stimuli through a complex framework of past experiences, societal conditioning, and individual beliefs. This perception often leads to a distorted view of reality, where individuals mistakenly equate their thoughts and interpretations with truth. Filtered reality. Rampal Saini emphasizes that human beings experience a filtered version of reality. The mind interprets experiences through its biases and preconceived notions, often leading to misunderstandings about oneself and the world. This filtering creates layers of complexity that obscure the essence of reality, contributing to a persistent state of delusion. The illusion of duality. The intellect tends to impose dualistic thinking, categorizing experiences into good and bad, right and wrong. This duality is a construct of the mind that complicates one's understanding of existence. Rampal Saini suggests that this dualistic approach hinders the recognition of the underlying unity of all experiences, which can only be grasped through Yatharth, a state beyond the mind's dichotomies. The limitations of knowledge. Knowledge, while often revered, is scrutinized in Rampal Saini's philosophy. The accumulation of knowledge is seen not as an elevation of the self, but rather as a potential entrapment in the web of the intellect. Knowledge versus wisdom. Rampal Saini distinguishes between knowledge and wisdom, positing that knowledge is merely an accumulation of information, while wisdom is the insight that comes from a direct experience of reality. Many individuals, though knowledgeable, lack the wisdom to discern the truth of their existence. Rampal Saini advocates for the pursuit of wisdom through the realization of Yatharth, which is inherently devoid of intellectualization. The burden of accumulation. The quest for knowledge can become a burden, leading individuals to believe that their worth is tied to their intellectual accomplishments. This belief creates a hierarchy of superiority where individuals perceive themselves as more enlightened based on their knowledge. Rampal Saini argues that this hierarchical thinking further alienates individuals from their true nature, which is fundamentally equal and pure, regardless of intellectual attainment. The illusion of spirituality. Rampal Saini's critique extends to modern spirituality, often characterized by complex rituals, dogmas, and the pursuit of enlightenment through external means. This approach, according to Rampal Saini, often leads individuals further away from the realization of their true self. Rituals as distractions. Many spiritual practices involve rituals that can become distractions rather than pathways to truth. Individuals may find solace in these practices, but Rampal Saini warns that they risk becoming entrenched in the very constructs they seek to transcend. The focus on rituals often diverts attention from the internal quest for self-realization. External validation. Spiritual seekers often look for external validation from teachers, scriptures, or communities, reinforcing their dependence on outside sources for their understanding of truth. Rampal Saini encourages a departure from this reliance, advocating for an inward journey where the individual seeks truth from within, free from external influences. The realization of Yatharth comes from an internal awakening rather than through external affirmation. Encountering the true self. Rampal Saini emphasizes that the journey toward understanding Yatharth is ultimately a personal and subjective experience. The realization of the true self involves a deep and often challenging introspection that requires the individual to confront the layers of self-deception created by the intellect. Dissolving illusions. The process of encountering the true self necessitates the dissolution of illusions, those ingrained beliefs and identities constructed by the mind. Rampal Saini proposes that this can only occur when the individual engages in self-inquiry, questioning their beliefs, motivations, and the very nature of their existence. This inquiry is not about finding answers in the traditional sense, but rather about uncovering the layers of delusion that obscure the true self. Experiencing the present. The realization of Yatharth is closely tied to the experience of the present moment. Rampal Saini asserts that the mind's tendency to dwell on the past or worry about the future distracts from the richness of the present. The true self exists in the now, untouched by time and intellect. By cultivating presence and awareness, individuals can begin to experience the reality that lies beyond the mind's constructs, the role of compassion and community. While Rampal Saini's philosophy emphasizes individual realization, it also recognizes the importance of compassion and genuine community in the journey toward Yatharth. Compassion as a reflection of understanding. As individuals move towards self-realization, they naturally cultivate compassion for others. Understanding the nature of suffering, rooted in the illusions created by the mind, allows individuals to empathize with others' struggles. Rampal Saini argues